Hello everyone and welcome. This is going to be I was about to say short, but it's not going to be a short. This is going to be a video about me babbling over how to play Edu, and I hope you're going to be enjoying it, finding it more interesting or anything else. And in either case, I hope it's going to be helping you to understand how to play Wakers and stuff like that. This is gonna be an unedited raw video. This is just me rambling over Edu. I've shown in the on the screen. You should be seeing a little tooltip right now. This is going to be me going through some like of the video, what you can expect to be seeing. So let's start with a small introduction of me, and then I'm gonna be going into the basic of Waker, just explain the photon art, entry, the photon art customization. I'm going to explain how I can work and basically going to showcase some gameplay explanation of how I play Wakers. So let's just start with some pro and con of the Waker first, since I've listed them here for you to see. Basically, for me, what I really like about the Wakers is it's the top tier DPS class. Well, it can be the top tier DPS class. Like it's easily on the class that, if played well, can reach the highest DPS, I believe. It's been proven at times, and it's really depend on the moment, but it's definitely one of the highest DPS class in the game right now. The con with that is that's also the sweatiest class in the game. This means that if you want to reach that DPS, you have to actually do your combo and rotation absolutely very properly. Otherwise, your damage is simply going to be absolutely terrible. Like absolutely, that's one of the Wicker damage can be all over the place. So the best area of effect in class, so it can be seen by the farm, really popular farm right now, Dex the farm. It basically outclass any other class when it comes to area effect. It got the highest mobility. Like I understand that like others can also have a good mobility also, but nothing compared to the mobility Wicker bring. Even if you don't have a target, you can literally fly for a distance that other cannot fly and stuff like that. So a really good class on this. Defense-wise, only the Hunter has higher defense and defense mechanics. The Waker is full of high defense, passive class skill that will heal Waker when receiving heals, crazy defensive ability, allowing to block while doing ability. Like many really good thing about the defense that I'm going to be going later on. And to me, it's the jack of all trade class. It's a class that's made to fight any content that you're fighting, PS bursts, bossing, anything really, like even platforming. This is the class for doing anything. The gun is, it's mentioned, it's the sweetest class. There's so many resource management to be done. Like you have to be thinking about so many things when playing Waker, and there's so many things that can break your rotation, break your combo, break your resource flow. That's like adds. It can be annoying at times, but for me, it's one of the little thing I like in this game. Like it's keep my attention, as to say, in the fight. Um, there's a very poor feedback on the management resource. It's okay for the harmony strikes for the sort of two main pets, but like Wicker has so many more resources than just those two. There's like the resource on the Marmallow, which is like the third familiar, like the one that you use to block, and some for Nuke is yeah, it's not even showing whole charge. I think it does not show when you did the second block. So you have to always be keeping this in mind. The totem also that's coming from with Wicker has terrible feedback on when it's about to leave you, especially like in the heat of combats. There's some animation lock. I would say that compared to most classes, probably one of the class that has most animation lock. It got a lot, and I mean a lot of buffs since its release to fix that. It's a much more mobile than it release, but it can be felt. And there's also like literally a skill that is made for Waker to compensate on those animation lock. But for those that don't like animation lock, you might find Waker to be a bit clunky until you understand how the combos flows for the Waker. And depending on which type of bus, it's actually weaker to against a specific bus. Mostly, I wouldn't say weaker, but has a really hard time against specific boss, like extremely fast boss like Izuka Bujin, if I remember well the name. It's the one in the Geolab rank 2. This one, especially the 21st seconds. Oh, I forgot to mention that. The 21st second of Waker of a fight, when Waker just come in and reason in his own, the Waker is weak because he has access to no class skills, and class skills are what define Wakers. Literally, this is all his power and defense come from class skills. Uh, Another boss where it's very weak against is Aegis and rank 2, like the fight where he's mostly untargetable most of the times, impossible to charge the many thing of the resource management of Waker. So basically, Waker is weak against a few boss. Now, I did mention this is going to be a video rambling me rambling about Waker. So if you want something really fast and stuff like that, really concise to the to details and stuff like that, this is not the right video. This is me going about everything I know about Wakers. If I can think about it, I'm gonna speak about it. This might be a very long video. I have no clue how long it's gonna be. It's not gonna be edited or anything, but here we go. So let's start with a small introduction of who I am and why am I making this video today. I am in game name called Edunya, Edu, or E by some. People that have known me, they have known me since the beginning of the NGS. I was one of those first player back in the day that will be soloing Gigantis when they made it, so they don't like vanish with storm and stuff like that. I've always been one of the top players in this game in any aspect, farming, bossing, and managing people. I would say, and I've really enjoyed playing NGS for the 3 years and a half, I would say. Well, no, it's about 3 years now. Yeah. So for about 3 years, this was really great. Um, and why am I making a video about Waker? It's because I've been maining Waker ever since it released. And I've actually kind of the godfather of the Waker class in the ship one and even online. If you look at my video on this channel, there's not that many, but one of them is clear of the Kivaris purple dungeon. And that was like back in the days before Waker was even received his first buff. That's where I was already had with Waker soloing purples back in the days. And I've been at it for ever since. I've been telling people how to play Waker and stuff like that, but I've always been kind of like that shadow person that's like not very well known, but those that know me will be able to vouch for everything I've been saying today. I have the reputation to be the best Waker of Ship 1, and that's not me saying it, that's what people that's like been around me have told me, and coming from different aliens, I've heard people in Besson start telling me this, through Vortex, the aliens I'm part right now, but also many other aliens and people on Reddit. So, I'm also leaving NGS after 3 years. I need to be going somewhere else, and I was thinking, what could I give to the community that I've enjoyed playing with for so long? And I was like, hey, I could be telling them how I play Waker. So this is me. I'm gonna be going through Waker, and if you're looking for very good aliens right now on Chip 1, I suggest True Vortex. They're an amazing family. Like, if you want something that's just like there's no bullshit, I would say. There's no drama. There's no don't. There's nothing that is not safe for works. It's really about enjoying the game for what it is and not too much complaining about it. Just enjoying it for what it is, really. But enough of me and my audience. Let's go with Basic of Waker. So I'm going to be removing that little notepad from this here. Not that used to OBS and stuff like that. I wanted to say hi with Edu, but I guess too bad. I'm not gonna do that. Just going to restart the camera. And let's go. So the first part I wanted to show is just basic photon arts. I think we can see them here. Yes, photon arts. So Waker only has 4 photon arts. Pretty simple, and yet I would say that using the photon arts the easiest part of the Waker build. It's more the class information. It has a lot of class skills, like a lot of them. But let's first start with the photon art. So there's 4 photon art. Oh my god, I lost myself. That's something good. Photon. Please UI. I don't like NGS UI. I'm sorry, this is good, but UI sucks. um, so let's start with Fruit and Bread. One of them, probably one of the most known skill right now. This is the skill that you're going to be using for farming PFC bursts and stuff like that. Especially if you're doing the Dex farm. It's very strong. Suggest looking at guide for it if you're not aware of what I'm talking about. But Fruit and Bread, very simple. Press up, not this one. This one. So 3 bubble goes out. Big AoE. Very simple. You can charge it, and when you charge it, what it does, it's like it's going to target everything that is in your screen, and I mean most of everything. It used to have like not that big of a like I think a maximum number of target, but now it's much bigger. The reason when you're doing PSC burst, you're still going to do just a tap because the tap is faster and you're going to be getting stuff easier. But when you're roaming around and just want to clear your screen quickly, holding it will attack everything in the air. So, and I mean pretty much everything. So you can clear wider range of a map. So when it's bigger than PC burst and you need to like bigger AoE, hold it, and you're going to be able to like AoE more than just hold it. And this is for the very first photon art. Very simple. There's 2 like click and hold. They all have click and hold. Same for Fruit and Bread writing. I mean, fruit and writing is one of the funniest skills. It's not one that you're going to be using a lot for combat, but at the same time, you're going to be using it at some point. It's basically 2 mobility skills in one. So the first one is when you're not charging, it's going to raise you vertically up to about this 8 above the target that you're at. So even if the target is like super high, you're still going to be going up vertically a little bit every time you're using the uncharged Fruit and Bread until you reach that 8 about the side above the target. And very simple, single target damage, vertical mobility. And if you hold it, you're going to be riding through them. And now you can move around. And once you release the button, you're going to unleash a huge tag that can deal like, kind of a lot of damage. Not very worth it to charge during battle or use during a combat, I would say. But it's still a lot of damage, so if you have a downtime, it can be used for that. And recently they made it so you can change direction even if you're looking like targeting something. So you can move around, replace yourself. It's mostly like I would say it's more fun, like put an art than a useful one, like because it's basically the first month of the game. The only class that can really say that you have a month. Well, I guess now you have the Mars, but the Mars are temporary things. This one you can actually hold it for as long as you want. Personally, you cannot go up with it. You can, and it will slowly go down. But it's gonna go down slower than if you're just gliding around. As you can see, like when you glide, you go down kind of really quickly. But if I use this, I'm gonna be like going like hovering farther before going down. I'm going to go down at some point and even like almost faster than gliding, but I can just shoot it again, and then I do this little part without ever going down in my head, and this is one of the reasons why Waker is like one of the top class. Like it's well, no, not one of them. Is the top class of immobility, and this is only one skill of mobility, like one of the two, three, I would say. And that one skill with two mobility. All right, let's go for the next one. Art. Oh, please. UI, what a shitty UI. Can you just be like, I'm here, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to be pressing the button, the point to switch the tab. No, I actually need to be also selecting the tab. So I have to go here, follow art, be here, and now, are you kidding me? Huh? Do I have like to click it? Oh, I have to click it. Now I can press my button to. Sorry, that was just a painful moment. So, next skills, Weapon Demolition. This one has two charge actually. It's not really mobility skill at all, but it's going to be useful for very situational moment. But I would say that right now in the current meta, Weapon Demolition is ready to use. First of all, it's a pretty nice area around you. But compared to just Freedom Breath, the area is smaller, so when you're in basic bursting, you're not necessarily going to like be eating everything like Freedom Breath. The damage is higher than Freedom Breath on it, but it got a slow animation as you can see, so Freedom Breath become like the winner when it comes to clearing AoEs. The first charging mode of the Wolf on Dimension is letting an area that will charge a little bit your harmony stacks, as well as dealing damage over time. A little bit. So if I go here, there's an initial hit, and then there's always like something. So this can help you maintain some DPS or raise your DPS because you can tend deal damage at the same time. So you have a little bit of extra DPS here. But at the same time, the Grand Meta is kind of like a waste of time and resource, and I'm going to be going through that when in the more advanced part after I'm going to be done going through all the skills and explaining kind of like the basic of all the skills and going through more how everything fits together. So until then, just let's go to the next skills. And I don't know how many times I'm gonna do this mistake, but probably too many times. Hey, I've pressed the photon ore, and you're going to tell me that once I'm pressed, I'm selected here. If I move this, this is going to be, and then if I press this, oh my god, sorry, another rant. I don't usually like use the those menus too often. I'm more like game playing and stuff like that, so I'm not too much on the menu usually. Oh, and I forgot about Wolf and Demolition. There's actually another stage. You can actually charge it further, and it's gonna make a huge hit. One hit. It's great, but not very spammable. So even if you're in a fight and you're thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna keep this to do more damage, no, you should be doing this when the enemy is untargetable. You cannot do any damage, and instead of be doing nothing, now you charge it, you get it ready, and you deal. One of the very good thing about this charge tool is that it's going to apply this mark that you see on the totem right away. So one hit, it applied the mark. So if I detonate hit the mark, and I just wait for it to. There it is. The mark is back. It's a safe fire, so sometimes in purple, for example, the boss is dying. You want to, but you want to apply the mark as fast as possible on the next one coming up, so you can detonate it to kind of keep your totem up, and that's when you're going to use that skills to apply the mark right away and be able to detonate. Well, that seems a bit advanced. I shouldn't have gone with this right now. Let's keep it in Let's go keep it in the basic. And the next one would be the Wolfen Raid. Wolfen Raid is the main skill. This is the main combat skill. This is your main damage output. This is also a mobility skills. Surprise! Only there will be three. Didn't well, Wolfen Dimension didn't have the mobility. Now the next mobility I'm going to be telling you, but after Wolfen Red, the last one. So Wolfen Red, as I've been saying, is your main skill. This is like the skill that you're going to be spamming the most in combat, and it's still a lot of damage. Give you some mobility to like just you go ahead. Like I can target this, and there's some movement being able. You can also hold it to deal even more damage, and this is going to be like your highest version of the damage. So it's going to be there's variant of damage that you can do on like so basically, for example, if you're pressing W and you're using the Molten Raid supercharge, it's going to end up with like the drop kick that it just did like on the side, and it's not going to be as damaging as if you just hold it and leave him damage on this one. Or is it? Oh, maybe they changed it. Oh yeah, they changed it. Well, no, it's a little bit. No, it's still a little bit. They didn't. It's still a little bit like the animation and stuff like that is a little bit faster on this one. So this is why it's going to be like your highest DPS. And this one is I'm not touching anything. This is just holding the button of Wolfen Raid without touching any directional button. If I touch a directional button, it's going to be using another variant, which is not necessarily as strong. Basically, it's only effect. Yeah, it's only if you forward. But if you press W and right click, it does that little kick. But it's because it's gonna go farther, if I remember well. Yeah. And the last one, like when you're not. So I hate this skills. If you're pressing W while holding Wolfen charge, you're going to be going farther. If you're not going to be as far with the charge, but you're going to be like sent back a little bit instead at the end. And this is actually your highest source of damage by not doing any directional input while you're using Wolfen Red. Also, please note that Wolfen Red, when you're just doing this, during the charge, you have invulnerable friends, so you can actually block an attack, pass through a laser, and negate the entirety of the laser beam by just using your Wolfen Red into it. Pretty cool. And this is for the photon art. Now, we're gonna go for the class skills information, but for the class skill information, I'm gonna go actually in town. And I'm gonna go for the talent tree. It's gonna be easier for me to just see them all and go through them.
Thanks for stopping by.
So, oh, never mind. Forgot I cannot go on them because I'm in a room and I don't really want to open. Well, okay. What do I do here? I'm sorry, it's because this game is such complicated to stream because I don't want to be capturing anything that I don't want to be capturing. I guess I'm gonna be fine. Let's just remove that. This. Yeah, I'm gonna be fine. So let's go with the long class skills. And let's go with Waker. So this is my setup. I'm using every point. The only point I'm not going to be using is Lucky Sign and Marmalade Pigeon. It's mostly Lucky Sign is mostly because it's not really that much important between Lucky Sign and Rasta effect continuous. It's only because this for me is something that is like activate with probability, and I hate probability, like low probability skills. For me, it's just not annoying. It's small and annoying, and I like. I don't need a rest design to be saved once in a 5 time. That's just not worth it for me. So I suggest to not put anything in Lucky Sign. Because it only does it that's like sometimes you don't use the rest design even if or your reverse sign even if you use it. It's just not consumed. It's kind of lame. It's kind of useless in the current meta, especially that like we have overheals, like we have too much eating, too much defense, too much of everything right now. It's the game is super easy, so you don't really need this at all in any circumstance. Mamelup Patience I don't use because this is about holding your down your weapon action to be able to block and reduce the damage received and protect you from being knocked back and launch and stuff like that. Uh, yes, the marble gauge will build when you're holding it like that. I still don't think it's worth it. First, you're going to take damage for pretty much no reason. Like, yes, it's reduce you from half, but there's also a cooldown of once against on the accumulation, so already does not really change a lot of just blocking. And if you're good at blocking, there's no reason to just Marmalade Patience. If you have the huge difficulty to block, then yeah. But Wicker really got one of the haziest block in the game, so it makes this just kind of like pointless, literally. Like I've never used it. I don't even plan on using it. I find it rather useless, but that's my opinion. You can use it. It can be useful. I just don't like it. I just don't think it's from my playstyle. It's not good. So let's go on what I'm using. Let's go on the AZ one. So the thing that you're probably already seen if you had a look at the class just for the subclass possible. But this one is like very good defensive action. Basically, when you receive 25% of your damage, when you drop about 75% damage, you're going to be healing. It does not need to be like a one-hit either, from what I've seen. Maybe it's only every time you receive a 25% of your health damage, but it's gonna heal for you for 30% of your max health. So if you receive a damage of 25% of your health and you heal, you pretty much just heal yourself by 15% from receiving a hit. It's pretty hilarious, and I've seen damage like this activate against boss and being like, oh, I just got hit. Oh, I'm full. Okay, guess I didn't get hit, even though I did. And this is one of the very, very helpful defensive ability of the Wakers. One of the defensive. This one, the resistance shaken. I didn't even realize reduce the damage taken rate to 60% when you're below 50% HP. That's interesting. So another reason why the Wicker is a very good thing is that you take less damage when you're a low HP, and you also have a higher heal from your rest design if you use it. The thing is, it's going to be healing you over time instead of like a big one hit. It you a bit one hit and then over time. No, it's not this one. That's not this one. This one only make it so that your healing is higher when you're below a certain HP as well as taking more damage. This is the one I was talking about. This one make it so that your heal rest design become over time. So when you use it, 50% of the heal is going to be instant. The next 50% is going to be over time on the next 10 seconds. And since you're getting healed more than yeah, you're actually going to be receiving even more healing also this way. Like if you're looking at it, you're going to receive 105% at the end of the day using this just on this one, and plus this one you're going to be at 130% healing from your rest as in use. Very good for this, and the 10 second overtime is actually super crazy good against enemy that will apply you like damage over time. I'm thinking about rain where you're creating something like dark damage over time. At this point, what is great is like even if you're receiving damage every second, you're healing yourself every second, so you don't really have that risk of like looking at your HP for a while. And after those 10 seconds, now you're going to start doing damage. So you're basically negating the damage over time for 10 seconds when you use it while affecting by damage over time. Really cool. One number to use I can see really fun of this one is with the Estery Rage Burn PP Estery Burn PP Hub or something like that. One of the new EX augment which give you more damage when you're burning. No, I think, but you burn after using some PP, but that burning damage, basically, when you use this with the rest design, you can negate the fact that you're receiving constantly damage for 10 seconds. You still receive it, but you're still full HP. Pretty cool. Now, the real cannon. Let's go on the meaty of the Wake class. Its class skills. Harmonizer Focus. So this one allows you to... I think enemy will put our with focus bar. Oh, okay, so this one is pretty simple. When you use your familiar, so your photon art, depending on the photon art that you're going to use, it's going to be raising
Come by anytime,
the player
okay?
bar that you have at the bottom of the screen. You see like where there's my weapon palettes. Right above it, there's two numbers, like 10 blue and 10 red. So when I use Freedom, it's going to raise that bar, and when you use Wolfen, it's going to raise this other bar, and the other one on the right is for Marmado for each block. So let's go back on the Waker. Now, familiar harmony is what the familiar ghost is used to. So the fact you're going to be raising those ghosts to use the familiar harmony, and familiar harmony is actually the highest damage source of the class of the build. It's going to be increase your DPS more than using photon art, but you have to use photon art to use it. This is literally like everything about DPS of Worker class goes around familiar harmony. The more you can land on familiar harmony during a fight, the more you're gonna be doing damage. Plain and simple. It used to be more on Marmelo, because Marmelo here has a strike. So every time you block with Marmelo, you receive a charge. At one charge, your potency, as you can see, it's 400s, which is oh, it's actually a no charge. So you have, right, because you only have two stage. So you have the no stage, no charge, 400 potency. That's bad. It's not good. Don't do that. Don't throw him like that. The stage one, that's like, this is like you've blocked only once. 800 potency. It's better, but it's like you don't want to be using ever a Marmelo strike with one block. And if you block 3 times, you're gonna have like those 2 charge, and now you're at 2000 potency, and now you're doing big damage. But this has been changed ever since a new class skills that's has been added in the class skills, and this is all because of familiar harmony. So now when you want to use familiar harmony, you can also have Marmado on it, and as you can see, the potency is 2000. The difference is that you only need to block once. It's used just one charge of the Marmalo. So every time that you block and you have the familiar harmony, it's gonna be the equivalent of doing your Marmalo strike as if you had blocked 3 times, which used to be your highest damage output by far. But ever since familiar harmony has been like added to the game, this is your main source damage. Everything else here is mostly about, well, not everything, but a lot of here is mostly about being able to sustain the familiar harmony. So let's go with familiar harmony. Continue with the Colligan PP Cruiser. This is very simple. Uh, when you use your familiar gauge stock, the PP consumption of the photomorph of that summon is reduced for a set time. So when you use your familiar harmony, I think I'm not sure if it's stock deplete. So I think it's when you put it to 0. Now it's going to be taking a little bit more or less PP, and because of the new way that you're going to be playing, you're most often going to be setting your Weltham to 0 charge, which means most of the time your main attack is gonna have like less PP consumption. But really, Wicker does not really need any PP consumption because Wicker has a lot of way to recover PP. First of all, using Familiar Avenue is going to restore you some PPs. Not sure if it's a skill here. I'm saying I'm not sure because like it's been a while since I went through all of those skills. So I don't think it's a skill here, but Familiar Money does add you a big ton of PP when you use it. Very useful. The other one that's going to be a high PP generation is gonna be this one, the Harmonizer Parry PP game. So basically, when you parry, you receive 20 PP. Very good, and you want to be parrying because parrying is your highest damage source. There's also a counter with parry, so when you block an attack, you can tend do a normal attack to do a little stronger attack. It's actually pretty strong. You want to use it most of the time, except if you're at your third block with Marmelo, a strike without having thrown him already. The reason is to gain some times on the animation. You want to be knowing that when it's your third block, do not release the bottom of the third block until it stays on your hand, because basically what's going to happen is you're going to block the attack, and since that's going to be giving you your third charge, and since you're holding the weapon action button, Marmelo, instead of going back into your pocket and having to resummon him to hold him and throw him, you can just hold that bottom weapon action button for the block, and after the block, Marmelo is going to stay on your hand, ready to be thrown with the third charge strike. So this is the only moment where you're not going to be using the Harmonizer counter. So this is only raising the maximum stock on your Harmonizer focus. So you can only have 2 charge of each. This is raising it to 3 charge. Pretty useful, not mandatory, but I strongly suggest it. And this is actually one of the core skills of the Waker. So you remember earlier on during the Wolf and Raid explanation, I was saying that it was applying a mark on it every time. This is the mark. This mark makes it so that when the mark is on enemy, you deal more damage, and you have more factor, like a more down factor. And this mark is absolutely the core gameplay. Like, if this is your main damage, this is your main place of trouble, because this is what's going to be able to manage your resource of your familiars. It's going to increase your damage that you're going to do on the enemies. You want to have that mark as long as for as long as possible on the enemy, and with as little downtime as ever. But it's not as simple as simply adding it. Once added, there's no timer on the cliff. It's gonna be on the enemy until it dies or until it ignited. And what do I mean by ignited? Well, the thing is, if it was only about putting the mark, work will be very simple. But you can also detonate the mark, and when you detonate the mark, it's gonna deal some damage, but it's going to summon the familiar support. And the familiar support is going to be your best friend. It's going to be increasing your DPS, but also increasing your familiar gauge armor like there's no tomorrow. And it only lasts 20 seconds. And you can have it like, you can upgrade it twice. How did you upgrade it? By igniting again. That means that if you want to have your familiar totem, that's only lasts for 20 seconds, but it's going to be refreshed every time. That duration is refreshed every time that you ignite a clef. But you want to have that totem to third levels, so you're going to have to detonate the clef at least 3 times to bring it to the max levels. And then you want to have that clef on the enemy for as long as you want, but you also have to then make sure to keep detonating the clef under the 20 seconds duration to make sure that this familiar support is up at all time. Now what does that familiar support does? It actually deal an attack by itself, kind of like the Thaddeus weapon deployment, where it's going to just auto target something by itself and dealing damage. It did quite a decent amount of damage, so it's going to be affecting your DPS number definitely. And the support amplifier make it so that the boost rate that it gives, because yes, that one is going to be giving you boost rate on your coach for every time it's going to attack. And as you can see on the third rate, it's literally double your rate of the bonus gauge. So it increases your gauge on the on your Harmony familiar attack really quickly. One thing to know about the familiar support is that it's actually some of the totem that you're going to be seeing next to you, and that totem has 2 colors, one blue, one red. And as you probably guessed it, one is for Freedom and one is for Wolfen. And you can only have one of the two at the same time up at any time. It's going to be mostly the blue one. In my playstyles, it's mostly the blue one that's going to be up. And the way that you can choose which color it's going to be, it's going to be depending on the last Photon that you have used before you ignite the clef. So if you use a Freedom Photon and then you ignite the clef, it's going to give you a blue totem. And if you use Wolfen Photon, it's going to give you a red before detonating. It's going to give you a red totem. And at any time you can switch between each totem type without losing your stage you are at. So for example, you detonate your mark 3 times using a Freedom PA first, so it's going to give you your Freedom totem first stage and all. But now your Freedom gauge is too high and your Wolfen gauge is not keeping up. You need to change it. You can actually detonate the clef with Wolfen and you're going to receive your totem familiar at its maximum support power, so at level 3s, and his duration is going to be refreshed. And you can switch between them however you want as long as you detonate the clef in the 20 seconds duration, and you choose properly your Photon Heart that you want to use for which familiar gauge you want to be increasing most urgently. And this is one of like, so you have the focus gauge to think about. You have the Marvelous Strike gauge to think about. You have the clef marking to think about. And you have to think about igniting the clef marking. And you have to think about doing it in under 20 seconds for making sure that you keep your familiar up, so that your familiar is going to be giving you as much focus as possible, so you can spam familiar as much as you can, so you can have those familiar Harmony Marmelo if you think about blocking every time, or if you have the chance to block before using them every time, and dealing huge damage, like absolutely insane damage. Like the difference between using the Harmony with one shot of Marmelo and not using it is like literally 800 on dependency, and that is a lot. This is a massive difference of damage. And the last skill, I think, well, before Linear Drive, and the last skills related to the familiar harmonies. Wake up, please. The last skills related to familiar harmony is the marking clef. So basically, very simple. When you have this tenants, when you use familiar harmony, you're applying the marks. So one of the way I am going to be keeping my mark for as long as possible is I'm going to detonate the mark, and after that I'm going to using my harmony. Also, the harmony, from what I've seen, always does the damage as if you had the mark already applied. So it's always going to have that 3% potential bonus damage from that you can see. And the damage as is taken is only the Waker damage from the clef. It does not affect the damage of the other player that's going to be in your party, because you do not see that clef that you have. If you play with the Waker, you're going to realize that you never see that clef. And the last class skills and the last movement skills. Linear drive. Basically, at the end of any photon rod that you active, you're going to have a little time like you kind of glow a little bit, and if you attack at that glow, you're going to do a little teleport toward the enemy. Or if you were using the direction to like run away from the enemy, like you're going to be actually going away from the enemy. So you can. It's a very nice go in or go out movement ability that can be done after any photon art. And linear drive and course, basically you can do it once again. And I'm going to be showing you linear drive and all of this. Like, I'm going to go back over all of this later on in the video, don't worry. This is just me going through one by one, explaining what it does. And I'm going to be showing gameplay later on how it flows together. Now, the last thing to talk about Waker before we can actually go for more deep information is the tech art customization. So there's been some change with some PA recently. You can actually modify them a little bit, and I'm gonna go through all of them and why I think they can be good, which circumstance, and why I'm not using or using them over others. So, we'll go over freedom writing first. Freedom writing is like probably one of the most exciting choice of customization between Wolf and Raid and Freedom. I think Wolf and Raid was like, these refer to their first customization. I think they went for like kind of, let's not change too much. Let's try. Let's see how's the reception of it. And on the second photon mark customization they released, they went more bold and allowed for more game-changing skills. So let's go with Type 1, Type 2, Type 3. I'm gonna go with Type 3 first, and then 2, and then 1, just because I'm using 1 and I'm going to be explaining why and stuff like that. So, Type 3, add triple clef mark effect to non-variant attack, and increase your PP cost, of course. Like all PA customization art will increase your PP cost. Photon. This basically freedom writing, so allows you to apply the mark when you're just using the when you're not charging the button, like not holding the button, you're not charging the attack, you're not riding the bird. Because when you're riding the bird, you need 2 strike of the bird riding to apply the mark to the enemies. But if you're just spamming freedom writing without riding the bird, it's never going to have the clef mark. But if you use this, you can also add the clef mark using that attack. The thing is, I'm mostly not going to be using freedom riding in combat except for mobility purpose. And I'm a better way to apply the clef mark than this. It's unless you have a really hard time having that mark up as much as you'd like, it's not very useful. It's not a bad one, but it's not very useful. Now, Type 2 is probably my favorite one of the 3, and this one is actually changing the gameplay of the freedom riding. So when you use freedom riding, you're actually going to shoot some attack just from riding it. It does use the PP, but not too fast, and the damage is really good on it when you're riding it. Unfortunately, with the current meta, And the current flow, like what I think is like the best rotation of Waker right now, it's not in a very good place. It's not dealing enough damage to be using, and riding Freedom is kind of clunky. And you also need to be at a certain height from the floor, otherwise sometimes the shot from depending on the who's is gonna go in the floor right below you, and basically becoming a wasted attack. So really fun PA customization, actually changing how Freedom plays, actually making it like a way to be playing like Freedom. Like you want to play Freedom as a main, like riding the bird as a main skill. It can be doable, and your damage is gonna be decent. Actually decent. It's not gonna be the best, but it's not gonna be the worst at all. So it's gonna be decent, but no more than that. And this is one of the reasons I'm using Type 1. Also because I found the Type 1 to have like more situational use than this one. This one is like Type 2 does not have any situational use. It's either you use it and you have it like really nice, or you don't really want to use it and it's not really doing anything. Like it's not, it does not like a I shine in that moment factor. This one does. This one basically kind of like Wolfen Ray, where you can Wolfen Demolition, where you can hold it to have like two other stage. This one also have other stage, which will simply raise the damage. I tested it. The damage is not good enough to just say, "Hey, I'm going to ride the bird, max it, do the spam, and then ride the bird again, and just kill the main enemy using this way." This is not gonna be good for that. What it is good though, is for enemy with a lot of phase changing moment. One of the example will be Darkfall's Dalian. Darkfall's Dalian as a moment where you start a fight, there's two splits, not too big deal, nothing really useful for this one, but once it becomes four split, there's a moment where it's going to be they are leaving the battlefield, and Darkfall then start doing a big smash. During those big smash, you can actually charge Freedom Reading and welcome the those splits when they come back, being able to target with a huge big bam in the face. And I found it like I use it for any buzz that has like a transition or moment where I can use it, and it's actually doing more damage than Wolfen Demolition Fully Charge. But Wolfen Demolition Fully Charge does apply the mark in one hit, while Freedom Riding will still require is uh, two hit to be able to apply the mark. So if your intention is to apply a mark faster during the transition, it's better use Demolition. But if you don't really need to reapply the mark right away, and you can just welcome the enemy with a big boom because the mark is still on the enemy, and you're just going to detonate the enemy like the mark right away once it's come back, then I really suggest like Freedom Riding Stage 1, fully charged, you ride it, it's perfect for this mod. Now, Wolfen Raid. Wolfen Raid, as I mentioned, does not have as much creativity difference between the choice, but it also make it BS toward Type 2. Um, Type 3 simply could help you apply that mark effect. Once again, the mark effect is not applied through all Photon Art. Usually, Wolfen Raid and Freedom Riding does uncharged, or like just spamming the skill, will not add the clef mark. Only the charge attack will do. This just kind of like Wolfen Freedom Riding, just allow it to be able to apply it without charging attack. Quality of life, not very result, not very having impact. Not bad, not good. Increased speed, PA potency minus 12%. This to me is straight up bad. That one is, I don't like it. I end up wasting my PP faster, It does not increase my focus gauge faster than the focus accumulation, so it's not even useful for focus accumulation. The damage is not gonna be that great. It's not gonna be that good because photon damage from Wicker is not the top damage. It's your ammonizer, and as you can read here, type 2 actually increase the focus because accumulation. So you can use your it's going to help you using that ammonizer focus more often, and it's a lot. It's applied to both the pressing and holding of PA. So it's everything about Wolf and Raid is going to give you more focus gauge accumulation. And out of the three type, this is the one that's actually going to have an effect on your DPS by a large margin, because it's going to allow for those ammonizer hit. Yeah, well, familiar how many hit more often to occur. Alright, so now if I just go look at this. So, now that we have went through the skills, it's time to just to like going back to how does it fit all together? Like how does it actually
Come by anytime
play
you can.
together? So I'm just going to go back into a little room of myself. Just
Thanks for
because I don't
stopping
want
by.
to be like in a city and showing everything here. Let's just say that's like this game is 18 plus, and there are some people in the community with absolutely disgusting taste. I just don't want to be looking at their model, and I wish I could like targeting model too high because it's just not. It's just yeah, it's just not fun. It's not fun. It's not cool. It's disgusting, and I won't even be able to show it on YouTube or Twitch because of how they look. It's exaggerated. Alright, so as you can see on my subpalette right now, yeah, let's go over this. I'm actually using mostly subpalette 1 and 2. These are pointless. I was using them for other very specific situation. I think I was using another ammonizer. I don't even remember why it's still showing when cards. But yeah, I'm not sure why it's a wing guard ammonizer here. But don't mind 4, don't mind 5, don't mind 6. Basically only 1 and 2, and these could be easy just 1. The only difference between 1 and 2 is I'm changing which one's going to be my right click, the skill I'm using most right now, between Food and Bread and Wolf and Raid. And the only difference is here between Wolf and Raid and Wolf and Raid, it's just button wise. It's because when I'm fighting, for example, PSC burst, and I know I'm going to be using more freedom breath, then I don't want to be like holding shift and using my button to be like if I go on here where I have Wolf and Raid on my main skills, I have to hold shift and use the weapon action button to be able to use my freedom breath. And since I'm currently using my freedom breath mostly, I don't want to be using that. So it's just quality of life I switch between those two, but it could easily be one palette, no issues.
That's pretty important, yeah?
Now the sub palette for me is pretty minimalistic. I have my Resistance on here, I have my Reverse on here, Foot and Blast, I have my Diving Kick, and my 2 class skills, which are... Did I went through Hot Marmelo Parry? No, I skimmed over most Marmelo Parry earlier on in Thailand screen. I'm very sorry about that. I'm gonna go over here about what it is, and I think I can go in the class skill. It's actually there, class skill information. A strike. Wait. Hot parry. So it's basically a 5-second cooldown, and what it does, gives you a shield for 1 second or so, and it's basically use your weapon action, but does not interrupt any of the attack you're doing. And there's another talent tree with it, which reduces the cooldown to 2 seconds if it did not hit anything. So if you did not block anything. So if you're using it for nothing, like right now, this is how long it lasts, and it's already back 2 seconds instead of 5 seconds. If I were to be blocking something during its duration, now it's going to be giving me the 5 seconds cooldown. And this block is exactly the same block as if I use my weapon action. It's kind of like, wow. Okay, once I'm gonna be hit, it's gonna have the same effect. It's a 360 block. It's gonna block from anywhere, any direction, or anything. And the only difference that it lasts longer,
Let's make this
and it
snappy.
does not interrupt what you're doing. So I can be using my freedom riding, and I can be shielding myself. Otherwise, if I want to use my weapon action, I don't have a choice. I have to stop my attack, and then I can use my weapon action. But Hot
Let's make
Marmelo,
this
it's
snappy.
basically something that you want to spam without spamming it too much. You're going to be using it when you're going, mostly when you're charging an attack, uh, when you're going to be detonating the clef, because most of the time you're going to do those when you're about to receive an attack, just because of the flow of the battle, because monster does not wait for you to do all your long animation skills. So you're going to be wanting to keep your Marmelo strike for the most of the time for like those moment where you are in the middle of an animation and you cannot block right away and attack's coming. Emergency block. Otherwise, it's for you to be like calculating when to be able to be blocking and using your skills. So, let's go. This is the mark,
Gotcha.
and I'm going to be detonating the mark. As you can see, I used freedom riding before, and now I have a blue totem right next to me. Now I'm going to mark it again. Mark, and I'm gonna detonate it. And as you can see, this is Wolfen Ray, and it's currently on stage 2 because I've just used it on. It was already stage 1 and when I detonate the mark, so it went to stage 2 on the new totem that type I've used. And I used the freedom one. Coming back, this is the third type. The way you can know that like how stage you are is gonna be colors. The first stage gonna be like more blue, then blue purplish, and then purplish, and then the red one is like it's red, then red purplish, and then purplish. Alright, it's got remove. I just want to show different color of each stage. So blue first stage, blue second stage. So see, it's barely like purplish and stuff like that. And this is your visual feedback to know if you're at second stage or third stage. Usually you know more like that you're at the third stage. The third stage is very apparent though, like it's a nice purple. But you're soon going to be seeing like what I mean, that you don't have much feedback of when it's about to be leaving out, like vanishing. Because it's barely going to be blinking a little bit once almost like the 5 seconds going to be starting to go transparent. But no, even like I didn't even realize it was about to be blinking there. And I know I play Waker. I thought it was a little less of 5 seconds. I was waiting to say the point out, hey, there, this is the moment. But no, this is just terrible feedback. Kind of like the same with the Marmelo parry actually. But just now show the red totem. Got 3 different color. So this is the red one. You can see fully red, no purple. Second one that you've seen a little bit early on, so red with some kind of bit of purplish. And third stage, it's purple. And this is the stage you want to be always keeping for both. Because as you can see, it's actually raising my photos gauge every time it's doing this hit. And it's not like small amount either. It's a kind of a very decent amount. That amount is going to be changing depending on the enemy you're fighting situation. Like from what I see, the gauge does not increase at the same rate depending on if you're fighting normal enemy, boss enemy, situational enemies, for example, time limited quests or something like that. There's some variant depending on what quest you're doing and what like the dev intended to be the flow of that boss. But most of the time, it's kind of like the fast one. Especially versus boss is gonna be faster than when you're fighting non-boss enemies. For raising your Harmonizer Coach. And the Marmelo Strike, usually I can probably find some enemy to get. Not if I'm in Filter Room. I'm gonna go remove that Filter Room. We're just going to be finding an enemy really quickly, and I'm gonna be showing why there's also terrible feedbacks on the UIs for this Marmelo Strike. So we can see that we have to strike to charge on bottom. Oh my god, this is gonna take forever, right? Oh, this is one hit. Okay, this is not good. Okay, attack me. Attack me! Ha! So now we have one charge, very simple. But if I block another one, come on, attack me. Come on. Oh. Boom! 2 charge. But we don't see it. And now 3 charge, now I see it. And now I want to throw it. But at 2 charge we didn't see it, and I shouldn't have like charged and blocked 3 times so quickly. But yeah, this is what I wanted to mostly say is like there's barely any like good feedback, so you need to be remembering when you're at your 2 charge. Oh come on. Okay, I'm gonna go in a better zone. Let's go find monster that actually want to attack me. But yeah, the goal is really to remember when you're at your 2 strike at 2 blocks. So when you're doing your 3rd block, you can hold your that. So if I can just demonstrate it here. Alright. Are they not going to attack me? Hello? Oh my god, I failed this one. Okay. Just let me do some. That way I can see things. Heal. So it's when you want to show how to block that you're not able to block. Let me just get rid of shit. Just want to be having those big ones on. Alright, let's go. I said let's go and I missed my... Why am I missing my block against those lame enemies? Okay, so 1 block, as you can see, I don't see anything, like I only have 1 charge, it's fine. Why is it already at 2 charge? What? Throw this. Again, let's restart. 1 charge, 2 charge, and you see, 2 block. I currently have 2 charge, but I'm only seeing 1 charge here. This is one of the things you need to remember, because when I'm going to be blocking my next one, I'm just going to yielding, and now I can just throw it. So in 1 animation, I've prepared my last one, and I'm already ready to... and I did my big damage. But all of that is also as strong as just blocking once, and then using it from the Harmonizer when you have the coach. Now, in a battle, let's go in the purple for explaining how everything works. It's gonna be better. Let's go with this one. 691 is not gonna be doing too much damage, and it's still going to be kind of tanky-ish. So So you want to be focusing on raising those gauge, and as you could see with the customized PA, we have the Wolfen Ray with 50% increased focus gauge increase, as well as having that skill being your main DPS skill. So this is why right now using Freedom to increase your PA is not that good. So now I'm going to be using Freedom Riding to increase my hate. And as you can see, I can easily come back and be over the boss. I'm going to be showing linear drive. The movement skill after PA is what I just did. So I'm going to use a PA, and then I have a little flash animation. During that flash animation, I can either go front or back. So I can also go back if I use the direction of back. Um, in a fight, I'm going to be killing that guy, and then I'm going to be engaging the next fight more like I usually do a normal fight. So
That's
in a
pretty.
purple, usually, yeah, this is one of the places I'm going to be doing this in purple. I'm going to be holding red, pretend red, doing this, marking. I have my mark, and now I'm just using my Wolfen raid charge, clearing my marks. I block with my Marmalo charge when the laser when I was using it. And since I have one block, I can use my Harmonizer, my familiar Harmony attack, because I did a block, and I have Ghost for it. So, and as you can see, I've been keeping my Frieden Totem up, because I'm using Wolfen Trade to increase my my focus gauge. And as you can see, I'm barely keeping up with my focus gauge, even if I'm using Frieden Wolfen Red with 50% gauge increase. I'm still having a trouble to catch up to the fully charged support with them. And now it was not even fully charged as well, so that's a problem. Here, I want to go attack the backyard of this guy. Super easy to reach. You can also use Wolfen Demolition in this situation when you have a hard time to attack a target because he moves, but you can move around him easily. There's a lot of mobility also in using the PA. Technically, with the Waker, you can also be on the air unlimited time. There's no reason for you to be hitting the ground ever if you did not wish to hit the ground. I'm not even playing like optimally right now because I'm explaining what I'm doing, trying to explain what I'm doing at the same time. You can see, oh no, it's but yeah. So the goal is really use Frieden Wolfen Raid to increase your floating gauge, mark your enemy, detonate the enemies. Is there a better way I can show the actual combo without? Yeah, which enemy is better? Uh, we're actually showing the full combo of Ray starting with a go with the classic Fujin. Also, it's a fast enemy, so it's gonna be kind of a fight. I could be going to the 80-40 here, not doing that much damage anymore, but I'm just trying to showcase Wicker right now and the potential of its mobility. One of the things I like to start right now is using my Frieden Riding Type 1 customization. Now I'm already going to be starting like the fight with a big boom. Going to apply twice the inner drive and wow, I fell already. So now my mark is applied, getting the mark. I like to use Wolfen Raid often for that AoE damage, but that's mostly legacy habit, I could say. Now I detonated the mark before activating my Harmonizer Harmony because I wanted to actually refresh it before killing Guiden, but I've killed Guiden too fast. So after using the mark like this, I have a Harmony right now. I didn't do any block. I don't care. I'm gonna use it anyway, and I'm going to apply my mark right away. Anyway, what you want to do first is really you want to get that supported them first stage as fast as you can, and you want to keep that them at 30. No, this is ridiculous. These enemies are dying too quickly. I'm gonna go and actually match. I cannot show anything right now because they are dying too quickly. Ridiculous. Fine, let's go on the highest difficulty. Now this is just making it a little longer for not much, and I don't think it's as informative as it should be. But let's see me play it, so might give you some information right now. I'm not too sure, but yeah, let's do it properly.
Gotcha.
Uh, Try freedom riding first. And a new combo is to do a double freedom riding explosion. Begin. So this, this, detonate the mark. Now I have my mark. Luck, luck. Alright, cancel. That was the third one. I should have. See, I wasted some time here in my animation because I didn't calculate that was already 2 blocks. I wasn't too sure about it. It's gonna be third. Holding it. Oh, I was a bit slow on. It's a bit slow on it. Oh, I was trying to do the hot parry, but fine thing. Now once. Yeah, I did not detonate the mark first. That was bad. Now I'm having a moment where I don't have the mark up. I'm going to. Now I have my armor ready. Just need the marks to be up again. I'm going to detonate the marks. Fly it. And here we are. The heck is ringing to my door right now. And this is how I'm playing Waker. Now I'm just going to try to get my every time my harmony. Now see, I detonated the mark to after using my harmony, and once again I'm stuck not having a mark. You should never do that. This is not the way you should be doing it. Don't do like me. You should be detonating the mark like this, applying it with the harmonizer, so you can always keep your highest damage up. Now I'm just going to go see who's ringing at my door. I'm gonna be right back in a sec. Sorry for this little absence. I am now back, and that was for absolutely nothing. Just paparazzi at the door. I hate it. Why was I disturbed for this? Okay, if you didn't realize, he does like to complain. Well, also like to laugh. Alright, so this was it. I shown a bit of the gameplay. I shown how you can use freedom riding. Let's go another. I shown a little bit about how why Waker can be flying so greatly, but I'm gonna be showing it a little bit more on the purple of Narcoverus because it got a boss in here that is flying. And I want to be able to show you just how easy it is to follow something that is flying, or like just shocking a little bit the mobility of the Waker mobile. I think I went from like making more of the important flow, like the.
Gotcha.
I hope this video has been helpful for anyone that's had question about Waker. I'm going to be answering some question in the comments, or if you post me directly on Discord or something like that. Because I'm pretty sure there are things I might have forget, not didn't talk pretty clearly. It's 69. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't think about my thing. I was like, hey, why is it already down and dead like that? Because it's 69. Don't tell me it's only 69. Please tell me there's higher. They haven't updated this purple. Are you kidding me? I thought. Oh. Well, I guess I don't really have a flying enemy I can show you. I'm gonna try to go. Maybe I can do something. I'm not. I don't have to be using my big freaking weapon. I can just switch for a target weapon. Actually, let's try to go even lower than that. Because all I want is actually just to show character and not killing stuff. Let's go! Let's go. Alright, now it shouldn't be doing too much damage, right? Right? So I'm a little bit frosty also. This is why I'm making mistake on my own gameplay. I haven't been playing much recently, so I'm pretty rusty on my gameplay of NGS. But this is video I really wanted to make for the community. So one Brett, Mark. Am I absolutely destroying him with? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to mark him again. I cannot do the Harmonizer right now because I'm fully. But at least I got 2 charge of my mark. I'm going to be using my Wolfen Ray for the next one coming up. Playing a mark, detonating it. First stage, we are playing Harmonizer right away. We are fully marked now, so we can go fully damage. We're gonna try to use Harmonizer Harmony only with block attack if possible, and try to keep those marked as long as possible. You do not want to be detonating that mark too often. You don't want to be missing it either, because if that totem loses 3 charge, it's a huge loss of damage. You don't want either to have like freaking like one of the 2 stock charge to be fully maxed out. So at 3 you want to be using it. But as you can see right now, like even if I'm using only Wolfen Raid with the fully focus, that 3rd stage totem is actually able to keep up with the charge I need for Harmonizer. Now, detonated, use the money, and I can do my damage. That's going to block, damage. Not going to be detonated right away. Still not close to 20 seconds. No other block, so we're going to detonate it now because we are late. We've got a block, we are playing the mark, and we're keeping the mark here. Usually I block the first one and I use my Hot Marmallow in the second when he's dropping. It's just safer like that. It's give you a bigger window time for your block, and basically you can use Hot Marmallow when you're not too sure about the timer, or when the timer on attack can vary because there's multiple attack and you're not attacking every single explosion, for example. Now, detonate this right away. Apply it. Now, on the. Oh, kidding me? So, if you hold the Marmallow and you don't end up doing your first block, you're actually wasting a charge. This is kind of sad. Apply the mark, and this is how it is. Well, this is pretty much how you play Waker. You really just use everything in the flow, the importance to use those Harmonizer coach, use as much as possible with your block. It's to keep that resource up. It's to keep that resource up. It's managing your block, it's managing your animation, timing your defense. But when everything come up together, you get a class that's excellent many things like high damage, mobility, AoE, defense, you name it, it does it. The only thing is, it has so many things to think properly that if you're not using those armorers attack, your DPS is gonna be going down. If you're not using them with like the Marmallow block, it's even worse. If you're mostly using your PA but you're not raising those totems, it's bad. If you're not having your marks most of the time on the enemy, this is going to affect your damage a lot. Waker DPS come from having all those sectors up at all time in a perfectly manner. Any hero is going to affect your DPS by a huge margin. Um, when it comes to gearing, I would say that the one most important stat on Waker is critical hit chance, critical strike chance. Why? Once again, because most of our damage is coming from our familiar harmony attacks. And since this is not an attack that you can just spam like a photon art, it's more like something that you charge and then you unleash. You want this damage to be as consistent as possible and as strong as possible. And this is why Critical Strike become an absolutely monster on Waker. I currently do not have uh, a fatal on my blaster. I'm actually using a blaster on my Winger because I'm using Winger as an option for, like, I was thinking it to use for the later line. So basically, once Windguard is going to be replaced by the next weapon, I'm still going to be using Windguard for the Fallen Art abilities. So the what you get from here, the damage that you can have, and this is why I got a blaster, because I'm going to be using the Fallen Art with it. But really, you want to have Fatal everywhere. Crit chance is so strong on Waker that I actually use my Verschmel's Harmonizer for 6 months, even when the 10 stars weapon was here. And I'm a min maxer. I always have the best, strongest weapon in my end. And the reason I use my Verschmel's for so strong is because of those 100% crit rate. That 100% crit rate was making it so that because my familiar Harmonizer was always hitting the max damage, it was actually bringing me more damage than the rare weapon. Because the rare weapon even upgrade your photon art and technique, but your main damage with the Waker was not photon art. It is your familiar harmonizer, harmony attack. Familiar harmony is the best damage of Waker right now in this current situation when I made that video, this video. And crit chance is the most important, and of course, if you're talking about crit chance, you want to have high DP, like a high potency floor. Um, Unfortunately, there's not enough crit chance in the game yet to say that you can ignore the floor. So you're gonna need to have some floors. I have floor on my builds. It's folly floor guild build. Like I'm using Grand Keeper, or this need to be upgraded. Like I haven't been upgrading my stuff for 2 months now, so this is why like it's kind of like a full hole for the augments, because I'm quitting ninjas, as I've been mentioning earlier on. But you do use potency floor on this build, but if you have like high crit, I suggest you just go ham on potency. The more potency you have, the more familiar is gonna be scaling. The more the familiar is scaling, the more like damage you're gonna be doing. And if you have high crit chance, it's just gonna go like bamboozling. Like, it just gets ridiculous. It just gets ridiculous with high crit chance. I'm really hoping that someday they're gonna have like a Verschmel series 2.0, because it was the best series for Wicker, and it's kind of sad that like the new weapon are so low on crit chance. I think I went through everything I have to talk about Waker. Hope you have enjoyed this video. Sorry for all the rambling, but you were warned. This is just me talking about Waker. Feel free to comment with question. I'm gonna try to keep an eye on it from time to time. Otherwise, if you're part of the True Vortex Discord, just poke me there directly, and I'm gonna be making a pleasure to answer you. On this note, I hope you're gonna have a very good time enjoying these games. Thank you for everyone to have met in this game. It was a very fun time for the time it lasted. And if you're looking for a very good audience to be part that is active and doing the hand game content, True Vortex is a very nice place to be. Thank you everyone. Have a nice day.